Thanks again for coming today. So we are now kicking off our second cohort for the Access Mentoring Program under BioCrossroads. We'll be introducing 5 mentees today. Of course, we want to first thank our partners, one being the IBRI, which we have been great partners getting the Access Mentoring up and running again. Heartland Bioworks, who you'll hear from today. Shout out to Tyler Yoder, it is his birthday today, Libra season. And you'll also hear from IU Lab, one of our partners, and Plug and Play, one of their partnerships as well. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Access, sometimes we have mentors that come in to learn more about the program for the first time here. It strengthens Indiana's life sciences ecosystem by supporting entrepreneurs through structured, team-based mentorship, and it's based on MIT's Mentoring Mentor Service model. It's designed for early career scientists, innovators, and founders, equipping them with the skills, networks, and strategic guidance to turn their ideas into high-impact ventures. By connecting entrepreneurs with experienced business and industry mentors, the program accelerates commercialization, builds talent, and fuels economic growth across Indiana's life sciences sector. Sorry, you guys might have to control the slides, or yeah, you can try to fix this one.
We can advance for you.
And the overall philosophy of the program is when an entrepreneur with a good idea is connected with a team of mentors who have been there, done that, they're more likely to succeed. And mentoring works best in a conflict-free, confidential, and trusted environment. Go ahead and go to the next slide. So for mentees, what are the benefits of team mentoring? Sorry, click. So you get access to a diverse pool of experience, perspectives, and opinions. Go ahead and click. You're able to grow your network, and then you're also, your mentor teams can grow with you, or the team can evolve over time to accommodate the needs of the mentee. Next slide. What are the benefits of team mentoring for the volunteer mentors? First, it's an opportunity to interact with and learn from and develop relationships with like-minded peers in the room. Secondly, you don't feel like you're carrying the weight of all of the mentee's success. And third, you get to work alongside other experts who serve as strategic sounding boards. Next slide. Go ahead and click. So the number one kind of goal of the, not goal of the program, but importance of the program is maintaining trust and confidentiality. So none of the staff, meaning me or the BioCrossroads team or the mentors, can take operational roles or provide any services to the ventures. Most of you have your own consultant firms or can be consultants. You're not allowed to request or solicit business from the mentees. If that becomes a next viable step, then we can go ahead and work that out, but you would have to recuse yourself from the mentoring team. And to that note, all the mentors must sign an NDA and the mentees must sign a liability waiver. Okay. The overall structure of the program, so we have a 12-month cohort, so they're onboarded twice a year. This year we, again, just started it, so we did July and October kickoffs. We'll do one in the spring and fall for the following years. It's a 12-month program. There are 3 in-person mentor team meetings required, and these additional meetings can happen as needed. So typically, those are 3 to 6 meetings per year with your mentor team dependent on where the venture is in their life cycle. They're 90-minute meetings. We structure it this way as we think it's a sufficient time to address most needs and topics. The agenda must be provided 3 days in advance, so the mentee must provide the agenda, which helps guide efficiency of the meeting. And everyone will be assigned a lead mentor as well that can help keep the agenda on track, make sure no tangents happen, make sure you don't go down any rabbit holes, again, to make sure that the 90 minutes is spent efficiently. After every meeting, we hand you all a satisfaction survey just to make sure that the meetings are going well. Are the mentees listening? Are the mentors listening? We evaluate both parties. When's the next meeting date? Are they meeting with the appropriate next people? Things like that. And it's also an opportunity for you guys to give us any intel that's needed to the program. We're very open to learning more about how to do this better, how to make this the most beneficial program that we have. And so happy to have any advice for our program as well. And at the end of the program, so at the end of 12 months, mentees have an option. They can either potentially shut down the company. If they do have a company, maybe that's the most viable next step. Maybe it shouldn't continue. They could exit the program if they don't find it valuable or they don't want to participate any longer. You could continue with your same mentors, so you find it really enjoyable, you think it's going well. We already have our first mentee who has extended past the 3 meetings and has extended into a 4th meeting. It's going very well. But also, you have the opportunity to have a new set of mentors. If you reach a value inflection point where maybe you need somebody that has different sets of expertise. So for example, if you start off as a very early stage company, you're working on a lot of like proof of concept work, you're working on your business plan, things like that, maybe IP, and then as you progress into, you file an IND and need a regulatory expert on your team, we're happy to do that, maybe clinical trial expertise. We have those mentors in our network. We're constantly recruiting mentors as well, so anyone in your networks that you have that may fit that bill, please invite them to these events or have them email me. But you can evolve, your mentor team can evolve with you over time. So MIT's program actually has had ventures in there for 10 plus years, which is a long commitment, but that's a life cycle of a life sciences venture. And again, like the needs of the program or the team can evaluate over time. So we're really flexible, wanting to provide the most value to the mentee and mentor, not take up too much of your time. You know, we don't want to meet every single month, but again, want to have these useful, efficient meetings. And then other offerings that we offer to mentees. So we'll survey the cohort on any common needs that arise, and we will ping our mentors that have expertise that spans, again, multiple mentees, and host office hours or lunch and learns to discuss maybe fundraising. Everyone wants to learn more about fundraising, so we try to keep those outside of the normal 90-minute meetings. And we can just have someone come give a crash course in fundraising 101. Something else that often comes up is IP law, help with negotiating license agreements or term sheets, things like that. And so if anything arises over time that maybe your mentors don't have the expertise in, or you really want to go ask an expert, just let us know and we can create that resource if it's not available, or we can shuttle you to a resource that is already available in the state. You get access to other BioCrossroads programming events as well. We do a lot of events. It's almost like one a month, it feels like. It probably is that. And so we have access to, or we do a ton of other events, and you get access to our greater network as well. For the mentors, what other offers? So we are going to be rolling out mentor trainings, and so what does it take to be a good mentor? It seems like a simple enough question, but maybe the answer isn't so simple. Mentoring is very different than coaching or leading a team. And so if you all are interested, all of this is, you can choose. It's not a requirement to be in the program. You can choose to do this or not. But we will be offering mentor training sessions to you all. We also have mentor-only network sessions, so only the mentors are in the room, and then maybe some of our other BioCrossroads networks, so you can continue to grow your greater network, our other events as well, and then notification of other programming in the ecosystem. And so you'll hear from a few of our partners today about other events that they're having in our ecosystem, programming that they operate, and so this is a great time to learn about those opportunities in our ecosystem. So for the mentees, again, I feel like this is common knowledge, but it has to be said. So for the mentee responsibilities, you need to be open to sharing your goals, ideas, challenges, and aspirations. Again, this is why we make it a confidential, trusted environment. We try to form the team so you can have a very valuable relationship with them. You need to be prepared for your sessions, of course, and be receptive to feedback. You know, these mentors have a lot of experience, and so you need to be receptive to the feedback. Of course, keep the commitments to attending the mentoring sessions and other office hours or workshops. Again, the minimum requirement is 3 meetings per year, but we try to provide other valuable opportunities for you. The main thing, respond promptly to requests from our office, and that's usually just scheduling. And so, we're trying to schedule a meeting within the next 3 weeks. It's like, respond to me sooner so I can actually set up the meeting in 3 weeks versus not. And then, of course, alert us of any real potential or perceived conflict of interest. And for the mentors, your responsibilities, of course, first is to listen and understand the focus and needs and aspirations of the mentees and offer constructive advice. It's like, this is not your venture. You can guide them, but it needs to be constructive. It doesn't need to be too intense where it just becomes ridicule. You also will help them set targets and next steps. Oftentimes, these act as pre-advisory boards for the mentees, and so helping them, set appropriate next targets and next steps. Of course, again, respond promptly from our office, and keep commitments to attending mentoring sessions and networking events, and alert us of any real potential or perceived conflict of interest. So how does forming mentor teams work? So we'll have events like this where we introduce the venture, so everyone will pitch here in a second. And you all have mentor sheets where you can write down your interest in the company. You'll hear them pitch. Then we'll have a networking session where you can go ask them further questions. The pitches are very high level, who they are, what their company is, or what their idea is, and what they need mentorship on. And so you can go ask them questions afterwards to see if you would be a valuable mentor or not. And then we collect all of those sheets once you're done. So after you've filled out those sheets, please leave them on the desk out front, give them to Tara or myself, and we ultimately will curate the teams in-house at BioCrossroads. There will be 3 mentors per team. The reason why we have eyes on everything is, say, we get 3 regulatory people on one team. That's not beneficial. We'd rather have regulatory, business development, and maybe like marketing. And so we just make sure that there's variety in the mentors' backgrounds, but the mentor's interest is the primary consideration. So that's all for me. I know that's a quick crash course. I know most of you are mentors in the program, but happy to answer any questions in the meantime if you have any about Access, and then you can come chat with me afterwards as well. All right. Well, if we have no questions, I don't know if this is working, so unfortunately. Next, we'll go ahead and bring our first partner up, Heartland Bioworks, to present the great work that they're doing over there.
Okay, that works. Hello, everyone. Great to be here with you all today. I mean, what better way to spend my birthday than a beautiful day building out our ecosystem, right? So I'm here with Alex McCloskey. She'll talk a little bit about our University Core Facility program here shortly, but wanted to just provide you a quick overview of what we're building out with our Heartland Bioworks Tech Hub. So go ahead and go to the next slide. So within the CHIPS and Science Act, $500 million was set aside to identify geographic clusters for industries of national security concern. We were looking at semiconductors, microelectronics, quantum computing, a lot of different areas. And biomanufacturing was one of those key strategic areas where they wanted to see some investment in the U.S. Of the 370 applications, 34 were designated as a tech hub, and Indiana was designated as a biomanufacturing tech hub because of our really solid nexus with Lilly, Corteva, Elanco, IBRI, BioCrossroads, university partners. There's a lot going on here within the biotech space in Indiana. And then of those 34, 12 received a significant amount of funding, and Indiana was among the largest largest funded tech hubs. So we received $51 million to deploy across 4 projects over 5 years. We just wrapped up year 1. It's actually been a really exciting time to celebrate a lot of the milestones we've already achieved and really see momentum building across the tech hub. So the 4 projects are governance, just our general oversight. We actually have some scientific advisory board members, Jay here, and others who are engaged with our advisory boards on the governance project. We have a workforce development project called BioTrain. So we want to be training up the next generation of biomanufacturing employees. So people from middle school and high school, giving them early exposure, working with Ivy Tech, working with Purdue on some degree program options, and a lot of different upskilling with our employers. On the bottom, you can see we have a headquarters building that we're building just across the gray building, across the parking lot here. 22,000 square foot facility, primarily as a training facility to give hands-on experience in a pilot scale and lab scale environment. GMP simulated, so getting gowned up and getting experience working with the bioreactor. So yeah, hands-on training facility there. And then I'm the director of our bio-launch project. So we want to accelerate commercialization of biotech and biomanufacturing solutions in the ecosystem. We're doing that through BioStart and BioCan, which I'll talk through in just a moment. We'll go to the next slide. I have a couple slides here just to talk through scope. I know this is a bit of an eye chart, but we have some really great partners in our ecosystem. BioCrossroads, this Access Mentoring Program, IU Lab, and they're looking very broadly in many ways across the life sciences. So think sport tech, digital health, a lot of different health services. We also have small molecule, a lot of presence here with that. Where we are focused, just because of our federal mandate to build out this biomanufacturing hub, we're primarily focused on these bottom couple tiers within biotechnology, within biofuels and biomaterials on the ag side. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff down here on these bottom tiers. That's where we're primarily focused, even as we think that as we're building this out, we're going to see a lot of benefit through our training programs and with our partners, including Access Mentoring. Throughout the ecosystem. Go to the next slide. We are also, because we're funded through the Department of Commerce, the U.S. Department of Commerce, we're a little more late stage focused. So focusing on TRL 6 and above, think late stage preclinical development, initial manufacturing runs, so a little bit later in the game, even as we have partners who are engaged more on the earlier stage R&D side of the equation. Go to the next slide. As I mentioned, we have 2 pillars within the BioLaunch program, the BioLaunch project. BioStart, think of it as the general support for biotech startups. So the Access Mentoring program is a key piece of that. BioCrossroads is our primary strategic partner on all of those activities. So our peer-to-peer CEO support groups, they're building out an ecosystem roadmap. So from initial ideation all the way through commercialization, what are the different milestones that you would be hitting for a biotech solution or for a med device, and then what are the resources available at each of those steps, with each of those milestones. So that, I think, first draft is going to be published hopefully here in the coming weeks. And then founder database. We have a lot of great industry veterans who have walked this journey, either in large companies or with startups. So how can we take those individuals and plug them back in, whether it's in fractional roles or full-time roles with our new round of biotech startups. So that's the BioStart side of the equation. And then on BioCan, we have a huge network of contract resources. It could be CDMOs and contract manufacturing, lab facilities. So how can we best identify what that network is, facilitate connections to that CDMO and lab network, and then we have a grant program to help subsidize or fund utilization of that network. So about $9 million that we're looking to deploy across a variety of applications. So I'll mention that in a little more detail at the end. We also are working, if you go to the next slide, with our unit, or actually, yeah, this is great. This is just a very high-level map of some of the partners that we have here, contract partners here. This is just scratching the surface. We're building out this map kind of week by week as we engage with more partners. So if you go to the next slide, Alex is going to talk a little bit about our University Core Facility program.
Yeah, so as Tyler sort of said, we're trying to build access to laboratory
Yeah.
We're trying to build access to laboratories and the infrastructure associated with that. So with this program right here, what we are offering is pre-established relationships with the university, so we take care of all the contracting. We also have a consolidation of all the different core services that are available, which there are a lot in Indiana. And we also have serve as a single point of contact for multiple facilities and multiple universities, all with the idea of making it easier for innovators to work with our facilities. So on the right-hand side, we have a box with just some example services, if you can see that. Some additional examples are NMR, cryo-EM, even manufacturing and fabrication, machining and fabrication. So we are currently taking project inquiries, so any type of project, even if you're not sure if the core facility is the right fit, we are here to help with that. So my contact information is at the bottom if you want to explore what core facilities can possibly do for you. And I will also be here with Tyler.
Thank you, Alex. Go ahead and go to the next slide. As I mentioned, we have a grants program that we just launched. We are in the process of evaluating our first round of applicants for this. So these are grants, non-dilutive grants from about $50,000 up to $500,000, really primarily focused on human, animal, or plant or ag biotech. And as you can see in the next slide, okay, no, let's go back, that's fine. So human, animal, and plant biotech, advanced biomanufacturing innovations, drug delivery device innovations, really focus again on that later stage. So preparation for an IND filing, your initial manufacturing runs. On the right side, you can see some example activities that we might look to fund, again, with the vision of utilizing Indiana's CDMO lab network because we're trying to build up this biomanufacturing ecosystem. So I'm happy to share more information on that. We're learning a lot through this first cycle and excited. We'll probably do about 2 to 4 cycles per year and about 2 to 4 awardees per cycle. And yeah, our next cycle will likely be in early 2026 is what we're targeting. Go to the next slide. So just to wrap up, I think some next steps. First off, explore the BioCan grant and resources. We have a list on our website. As Alex said, we'll be in the back, so I'm happy to talk about some of the connections we have and explore ways that we can support either your innovators or within the ecosystem. Connect with the Hub, visit our website. We have a Connect with the Hub form. You can also follow us on LinkedIn. We're trying to share and amplify a lot of different voices within the biotech space here in Indiana. You can also contact us if you have questions on our bio training programs. So if you wanted to learn about the workforce development efforts we're doing, the training programs, or about BioLaunch program, feel free to reach out to me. I have some business cards in the back, and we would be more than happy to help. So thanks again, and look forward to engaging with you all.
Thank you for the mic-overs. Great, so now we're going to head and hear from the mentees. And so for all of the mentors, you should have a sheet. If you don't, there's some at the table. Maybe like raise your hand and we can make sure you guys get one. And so they'll come pitch. 5 minutes is is not a lot of time to determine if you want to mentor them or not. So maybe write like an asterisk and then go talk to them after the event. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. And so I'll welcome Dr. Emma Tillman to the floor.
Alright, and this is probably not the best time to use animation, so ReactRx is the first patient-facing real-time adverse drug reaction platform with AI-guided triage and back-end data analytics for pharma regulators and providers. We can go to the next slide. So to outline this problem, I want to share with you a few facts. So roughly 250 to 300,000 deaths per year occur to adverse drug reactions, or ADRs, as I will refer to throughout the pitch. This is the third leading cause of death behind heart disease and cancer in the United States. Less than 10% of these adverse drug reactions are actually reported, so this is a big deal that they're not actually reporting these adverse events. The average American takes about 4 prescription drugs, and those people that are over the age of 60 years old are taking roughly 22 drugs per year. During the COVID-19 pandemic, roughly 10 million people completed over 150 million B-Safe surveys following the COVID-19 pandemic or COVID-19 vaccines. So the mission of ReactRx is to transform passive adverse drug reaction reporting into real-time interactive AI-guided drug safety. And our vision for this is to bridge the gaps between patients, providers, pharma, payers, providing personalized, timely safety insights that will improve outcomes and reduce risk. So in this schematic, you can see the pathway of a drug. So pharmaceutical companies will typically send their drugs to the pharmacy. The patient will see the provider, whether it's a dentist, a physician, or practitioner, and they'll write the prescription and send that to the pharmacy. The pharmacy receives it, and then they send it out to the insurance provider, in many cases, where they will determine if it should be covered, and then it will go back to the pharmacy, and then the patient comes and picks it up. So once the patient picks it up, there's really not a good pathway for knowing, is the patient actually taking the drug? Is the patient having any adverse events? And we can go to the next slide, some little lines there. So the insurance companies don't know. The insurance companies don't know if what's going on, and the pharmaceutical companies don't know if there's any reactions, or if the patients are actually taking it. And the providers sometimes know, but sometimes don't. So we feel that ReactRx can fill this gap, notifying both of these, all of these, filling these gaps between the providers, payers, and pharma. Go to the next one. So this is a schematic of our MVP. I can share this at the tables later. But this would be timed alerts going through when the patient picks up their prescription. They would get a timed prompt via text message or email, whatever the patient prefers, and we'll be checking in. Are you taking this medication? If yes, are you having any adverse reactions related to that? And then it would take them through common adverse reactions that could be occurring. They can report those right there from the app. If they're not taking it, it would be, I'm not taking it, and then we ask them why they stopped taking it. If they are taking it and they're not having a reaction, then it would be done. They can also interact with the platform if they're prior to getting the first alert, and enter any symptoms or side effects, and it will look at the proximity of when they start taking the drug. So that gives you a little bit of the idea of the platform. Go ahead. So this is our team. This is my business partner, Jen Goldman. She's a physician scientist at Children's Mercy in Kansas City. Both of us have come from academia. So we think we have a competitive advantage because we are the first player in this field. Although there's a lot of drug tracking apps, there's no one that has this back-end data analytics that can be shared with the payers and the providers and pharma. We also understand the problem from many other facets, working in this pharmacovigilance space for a long time. We're also the trusted experts as pharmacologists. We're the people that understand this problem. We have a passion for finding the solution. We have a track record for leading teams and completing projects. We have the ability to pivot when things go wrong. And we have an indefatigable drive to succeed. So project today, we have an MVP built. This is a consumer-facing platform and back-end data analytics. The MVP is currently secured, but it's not HIPAA approved, so we are just collecting de-identified data, and we've done just a small pilot with friends and family. But our next steps are to hire a chief technology officer, build this out as a HIPAA compliant build, do full-scale pilots, and then secure those first B2B contracts. Where we could use some help is some executive experience. Both of us come from academia and science, so we don't have that business background. So business logistics, navigating IP, and then networking with corporate pharma payers, and then others to get those first contracts. So with that, I'll go to the next person.
Thank you, Emma. Hi, my name is Brad Lawson. Can everybody hear me okay? Do I need to use the microphone?
Yes,
Okay.
use the mic, please.
Okay, I will. Okay. If you can go to the next slide, please. We are a team of predominantly former Lilly, some BMS, some other pharma companies, either former pharma or former medical experience individuals. We are an early stage biotech company with a compound for pulmonary arterial hypertension, chronic kidney disease, and obesity. If you look up right here on the screen, you'll see my background here is I'm the only one here that does not have a medical or pharma background. I have built and sold 2 companies, so I have a lot of background from that standpoint. But I joined J. Paul Sitting in July of this year to really help him get the company ready for due diligence. If you can go on to the next slide. They have taken the compound that we have quite a bit through using an NIH grant and a CIBR phase 2 grant, over $5 million. And that's allowed us to take the compound all the way through safety, efficacy drugs, and animal studies. We're getting ready to go for our IND. And it's now time to raise money and get the company business ready, due diligence ready is what I call it. And that's my role. I joined as the CEO in July. And the reason why I joined them, if you can go to the next company, is the next slide, I'm sorry. Not only is the compound for pulmonary arterial hypertension and chronic kidney disease, but it also has shown efficacious, and it's a unique disease-modifying compound for not only PAH and CKD, but also for obesity. There's an indication it may have some therapeutic value for pancreatic cancer and for cognition as well. But those are pretty lofty goals, but those are all follow-on indications. Our primary focus is PAH, and that's where we're taking it now. If you could go to the next slide. I think we have a very compelling value proposition. We have unique differentiation. It's a disease-modifying drug. It's a small molecule. It's our target is a rare disease, so it may very well qualify for a fast track with the FDA. It has, I think, multiple indications, multiple possibilities for non-PAH, CKD, and obesity, and it's a huge market that we're going at, and terrible diseases, by the way. We also have a very strong leadership team with a core of ex-Lilly people with probably over 50 INDs and NDAs behind them, as well as we've assembled a strong advisory board, people from Lilly, as an example, someone who used to run their neurosciences program and has started 2 biotechs and has started 2 venture funds. So we have a lot of that expertise. We also have, I think, most of the individuals are Lilly trained and credentialized, so very, very effective. And then we have a very strong industry validation. With over $5 million in NIH grant, those individuals recognize something very valuable. And we see other individuals, other companies who are not as far along as we are, who have great seed money for over $14 million. We don't need quite that much, but that's what we're here for. And I think a very strong value proposition where I need help. You go to the next slide. My background is I'm getting my feet wet in biotech. I need help getting from our path to IND and phase 1 completion. Working with scientists is great, but I'm the person who needs a plan, and I'm there to manage that plan going forward. So I need some help and some advice. I need to know what I don't know, and I need to know what I need to learn. Same thing, my other focus is to raise funding, and I need to know what I don't know there. What's the best process? Who are the best investors in this area? What should we be looking for? What type of terms? I know what it looks like in the software world, which are my 2 former companies, but I need to know what it looks like in the biotech world. So at the end of the day, that's my need. Thank you.
All right. My name is Dan Flaherty. I'm a professor at Purdue University in the medicinal chemistry department, and we're really at a very early stage, having launched or anything like that yet. But that's where I need the advice for getting outside of my academic bubble and moving into the entrepreneurial bubble. So our lab has worked on antibiotic drug discovery, and we have some new technology that's microbiome sparing antibiotics. Next slide. So you can advance to the end of this slide, but they asked for some background. So I want to give background on myself. Chemistry major from a small college in Iowa, PhD at the University of Nebraska Medical Center in Farmside. Did a lot of work as a postdoc and research professor at the University of Kansas. So really, my background is heavily in early hit to lead optimization, small molecules. But where we don't have the expertise is moving those molecules on. And if you go to the next slide, I started my lab at Purdue in 2015, but our lab's core disciplines are small molecule organic synthesis, computational design of inhibitors, biochemical evaluation, and structural biology, all done in our lab. So we take on a lot of different disciplines. And go ahead and advance. We do our own microbiology with biological assays as well, but my passion and targets of interest have been in antibiotics. And so this is where, when I started my lab, I just wanted to publish papers and get to promotion. But now we have molecules that we think are valuable for public health, so that's what we want to move on here in the next stage. So go ahead. So the company overview, we're in pharmaceutics, antibiotics space, idea exploration and ready to launch. So really we have molecules that we think are going to be valuable to public health. They're narrow-spectrum antibiotics with novel mechanisms of action, targeting 2 critical drug-resistant pathogens. The first is vancomycin-resistant enterococci. So VRE is a common healthcare-associated infection. It's actually the second any-positive healthcare-associated infections in the U.S. It has it's problematic in long-term healthcare facilities, nursing homes, and ICUs. And so it has a high morbidity or mortality rate, so once it escapes the GI tract in patients. And it also co-infects with C. difficile, which is a major drug-resistant pathogen in the GI tract. It can actually exacerbate those infections and cause autoimmune disorder, or it's linked to autoimmune disorders. The other pathogen, it's Neisseria gonorrhea. And so this is a sexually transmitted infection. It's actually one of the leading causes of infections in the U.S. And the rapid rise of resistance has led to only one class that's clinically approved to treat Neisseria gonorrhea, and that's an injectable. Okay? So go to the next slide. We've identified a target that's a common drug target in between these both pathogens. And go ahead to the next slide. So advance. So 2 critical drug pathogens. We have a small molecule antibiotic platform that we've identified and developed orally bioavailable and efficacious molecules. And we've shown proof of concept in different disease models. So this is a decolonization model for VRE. So we can decolonize GI tracts from a mouse model that are carrying VRE. Next slide. We also can rescue mice from sepsis, a VRE sepsis infection. Orally dosing, where a common strategy to treat these patients are through IV in the ICUs. Go to the next slide. We also can reduce gonococcal burden, again, orally efficacious, as opposed to ceftriaxone, which is the current standard of care, which is an injectable. Next. We have a novel mechanism of action, so we've validated on-target binding to this target. And next slide, or next. This novel mechanism of action actually is unique to a very specific set of pathogens, small or bacteria. So we actually spared the microbiome, and this is a major shift or paradigm shift in antibiotic drug discovery nowadays. Is from broad-spectrum antibiotics to narrow-spectrum, because of all the research that's coming out of how important the microbiome is for many different health effects downstream. And we also own the IP, we have issued and provisional patents on these molecules. So, next slide. So, really my mentorship needs, how do I start a company? What's just the initial, paperwork, the energy barrier to figure this out, alongside teaching and running a lab and writing grants and writing papers is just a lot for me to handle, and I need to have that advice. De-risking the technology. We have proof of concept in vivo data. What's the next steps for me to go through to de-risk the molecules? Market analysis, commercial potential for technology. What are some antibiotics? Elephant in the room are usually not money-making ventures, right? But what are some maybe creative ways to use this technology to make a good marketing platform? And then informal advice and feedback. The next slide. So goals for 1 year, we'd like to form a company. Apply for SBR, STTR grants. I actually participated in the first cohort of an NIH-sponsored Innovators to Entrepreneurs program, which they're focusing on people who had R01 grants that develop technology and then transitioning that technology for businesses. And I took part of that cohort, so I'm really interested in doing this and begin to develop strategy for idea for potential clients. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Rachel. I'm the CEO of BioCrossroads, and I have a lot of positions here with me. So this is Jax. He's one of our classmates, and within a day, he went from looking like this, playing basketball at his practice, to like this. So he experienced a cardiac arrest and was airlifted out to a hospital in Chicago from Northwest Virginia. And while he was in the hospital waiting for a pacemaker to be implanted, you can see that there was a lot of different devices that were attached to him, as well as a lot of different tubes. And so one of these was a nasogastric feeding tube, and he noted that he spent a lot of time waiting to be fed because there's a huge delay between when you can actually verify that the tube is in the right place via nurses or radiologists and when the person will be fed. And so moving on to the next slide, this is a pretty common issue. You can just do recording. For delays, the average delay is around 2 hours, and that's between when the nurse places the tube and when the radiologist confirms that the tube is in that in stomach. Additionally, there's around at least 3 scans needed per interval course, and so that's when the tube is inserted inside the body and stays in there. And for Jax, that was a scan every morning because he was in the ICU. So every morning he had to wait at least an hour or two to make sure that it was in the right place and hadn't migrated before he was fed. Additionally, we're looking at studies of patients like Jax, like stroke patients. 42.8% of patients found that the feeding tube was not placed in the right spot. And of these patients, 8% of them actually had the feeding tube placed in the lungs. And so if it's placed in the lungs, that can cause death, pneumonia, and other complications that we will avoid. And so our team was really inspired by this data. You can look at the next slide. And we started this project out at a class at Purdue. And so once we saw some promise in it, we decided to move on. And so the way we address this problem is first we insert the feeding tube, and then we place an attachment at the end of the feeding tube. And so in this attachment, there's a buzzer inside the feeding tube, or inside the attachment, and this buzzer plays sound into the stomach or whatever anatomy that it's playing. And so as the sound is coming out of the body, we have an array of microphones. And so this is placed outside the patient's body like a blanket. And using the changes in sound such as volume, pitch, and frequency, we're able to take all those into consideration with an algorithm and verify at the bedside with no delay while the feeding tube is being inserted that it's going into the right place. And so this is huge for nurses and patients because it decreases that delay and improves accuracy. Yeah, and so currently we're in just to give you a sense of how much money this would save and how much time it would save, it would be around $2.8 million and around 1,200 hours for nursing staff per hospital per year. So there's a huge value associated with this product. Moving on to the next slide. Right now we're on benchtop testing and we just started animal testing. We have our second round actually this Friday. So we're moving forward, but we're still developing our product. We're still in the proof of concept phase. But we do have a patent pending on this device. As well as we've just finished the IU Labs and Generator Incubator program. And so, moving to the next slide. Since we're all biomedical engineering majors and Purdue students, there's a lot of things that we need help on because we're still taking classes about the things that we should know to in company. And so one of the things that we need help on is commercialization strategy. We've been working through that a little bit through the IU Labs program, but still trying to figure that out, as well as clinical connections. We're currently in the I4 program where we're looking at doing 10 customer interviews, but we also want to look at, change makers in the hospital system to determine if we can replace that gold standard of X-ray. Additionally, we're looking for a lot of informal feedback because we are students and we don't know how much time we have to spend on this project, but we are really dedicated to it and we want to launch it as soon as possible. And so mentors that can be a little bit more active and help us beyond just 3 meeting dates would be really helpful because our goal is to make a lot of progress in the next year. So I look forward to talking to you guys. Thank you.
I would like to begin by sharing the dreams that all of us have as a child. We think what we're going to be when we grow up. For me, it was to be a doctor, inspired by my grandfather, who was dedicated and very to the medicine, and which deeply moved me. Later on, I realized that being a doctor is not just a profession, but you need to have that it comes with a profound responsibility to provide care, and also you have to dedicate your life in a way to people and work on it. So that purpose, I carry that purpose with me, even though I didn't ended up to be a doctor, but I'm an engineer today. But that purpose guided me through my PhD journey, and also it continues to shape what I'm doing today. Good morning, everyone. I am Sujata Punet, and can you move to the next slide? I am Sujata Punet, CEO, and just the back one. I am Sujata Punet, CEO and co-founder of Pulse Health, and I'm also currently a postdoc at IU Bloomington. Talking about my background, I have background in electronics and communication with expertise in VLSI and embedded systems. I pursued my PhD in bioengineering with focus on autonomic nervous system tracking. So I developed solutions and to track the autonomic nervous system activity in real time during my PhD research. Autonomic nervous system controls the involuntary processes of our body, like eating, breathing, digestion, respiration. All these functions are controlled by the autonomic nervous system. So this project was initially funded during my research itself by another company, Neuraxis Inc., and it's being currently piloted at Children's Wisconsin through NIH-funded study for gut-brain disorder patients, which is also related to autonomic dysfunction, which shows its feasibility and clinical adaptability. I'm deeply passionate about turning research insights into scalable digital health solutions to enhance well-being and quality of life. Moving forward to the next slide, I would like to talk about what my company is. So to bring my passion into the reality, I have co-founded company through Pulse Health. Recently, we participated in pre-accelerator program generator, part of the generator. So that kind of forced us to move to the next steps, like company formation, registering it, and also putting together a lot of things that we were not aware of that I needed to as a researcher. So this company works at the intersection of digital health and medtech. It develops solutions for clinicians to empowering them to make decisions and giving them real-time insights before things get worse. The current monitoring system is more reactive, so our goal is to shift this from transforming healthcare from reactive to proactive care. That means the current system only looks at the signals like ECG, respiration, and blood pressure. That gives you information what is happening at the moment, but does not tell you what's happening at the deeper level, which leaves the clinician at the blind spot and patient at risk. And by the time these symptoms appear on the current monitoring system, it is too late to intervene and things get worse and out of hands. So this solution is real-time and non-invasive, and our model is B2B, following the partnership with hospitals, clinics, and research institutes, allowing us to integrate the solution seamlessly into the current existing clinical workflow. And the idea is to provide the clinicians with the data-driven insights that will allow early detection and support personalized care, ultimately improving patient outcomes. We are at the current stage of idea exploration. I have done proof of concept. That's how it is being used at NIH Wisconsin because of that reason. But it has a lot of potential to be applied to different applications application, and we are beginning with maternal health due to my personal motivation as a mother. So there were certain experiences I had during my pregnancy. So when I was pregnant, my pregnancy was healthy. I didn't have any complication. I had uncomplicated delivery, but yet I experienced a sudden complication, vasovagal syncope, just after giving birth. My blood pressure dropped to be 40/20, which was scary for my family. It happened twice, and they had no clear explanation to why it happened. If there was a way it could have been avoided. So as a researcher, I carried this question with me. What if they could have known what was coming ahead? If they could have avoided this, and they had explanation too. So instead of me getting pushed into this condition, it could have been not like that, because I ended up staying 3 more days, which adds cost burden to the pocket and also adds load on the hospital care system. So that's where we are at, and with this idea, we want to highlight how understanding body stress and recovery response could actually help in making better decisions, providing care to both mother as well as infant. And this is just one application I'm talking about. It could be utilized in therapist clinic, in ICUs, where you have access to these signals continuously without you needing to integrate anything extra. So it could be just an extra piece of information that is being added in the current monitoring system that is already existing in the current hospital setting. So you just have another piece of information added on top of that, but it can give you a lot of information about the body's response. Moving to the next slide. So we are currently to just translate my research into commercial product. We are seeking guidance with IP strategy, as this IP is owned by IU. So we need to navigate our steps with the licensing terms and agreements and all those kind of help. And we are also looking help in the commercial potential. We are currently participating at NSF ICOR program to kind of get the guidance with how we move about it. But we still need a lot of insights on the market fit, entry points, and also aligning our product with the needs of the clinician and healthcare system. We also need help with the early team formation, because we think having the right mix of people in with technical, clinical, and business expertise could actually help us achieve our vision and just achieve that success. So thank you so much for hearing me, and I really look forward to your insights. Thank you.
Great job to the mentees. So 2 more presentations, they'll be super quick, so no worries. We wanted to give IU Lab and Plug and Play a chance to speak more about their programs. I know some of you may not have heard about their offerings, and so invited them to come speak today. I'll invite Matt Jaworowski to the
Morning. I promised them I'd be quick, so if you hear the music playing, that's me being played off. Matt Jaworowski, Director of Operations and Program Development at IU Lab. Next slide, please. So IU Lab is a brand new initiative. It is Indiana University's signature innovation initiative, really focusing on digital, biotech, life sciences, human health, and how we can drive innovation forward in a meaningful and impactful way. IU Lab was launched in January of this year. We're a small team of 4, so effectively a startup within the broader ecosystem. Operating within a larger organization like IU is something that we're really excited about the opportunity to be working towards and meeting the moment of when it comes to life sciences. With that, we are in the midst of building a building. We're going to be having groundbreaking on October 21st of this month over in the parking lot just north of here. So complementary to our BioWorks ongoing project, and I think it really speaks to what's going on in this ecosystem at the moment. We're building, we're creating, we're developing the flywheel effect. We're doing all the things that can be complementary to Indiana's $99 billion life sciences economy. We're the #1 state for exporter of life science products. We're looking to help continue that momentum moving forward in a meaningful, innovative way. With that, we are well-funded through a translational grant from the Lilly Endowment, $138 million for the building itself. And then IU Research has dedicated $34 million to our research cores. These research cores are made up for microelectronics, imaging and sensors, basic biology enablement, AI, machine learning and data science, translation of biomarker discovery, analytics on Indiana's genomic sequencing, and then also basic biology enablement to ensure that we are providing the right resources to drive lab and lab components to enable the innovation to continue moving forward, all the right resources being available in the facility. Additionally, what we view as a really innovative aspect to our building is that we're not just focused on the industry engagement or the startup engagement, but really trying to bring both those components together where we can have academia meeting them. So the IU Lab in and of itself is the front door for where academia meets industry to drive innovation and commercialization thereof and train the next generation of life science leaders and entrepreneurs. We're doing a lot at this moment, and we're really excited about the opportunities that are in front of us. So next slide, please. This is the first rendering of our building. We're extremely excited about what this promises and how it will be an academic anchor here at 16 Tech. And one really important component is that we're not exclusive to IU. So Notre Dame, Purdue, Butler, University of Indianapolis, all are welcome to come and join us in this venture. We think that the high tide lifts all boats, and we want to really support the innovation ecosystem here. We know there's a lot of talent, and we want to be able to help everyone get where they want to go. With that said, those researchers need to know that they need to operate under the 30-foot IU tribe. One copy. That's something we're really excited about, and we just know that this is the right time, and that Indiana University is ready to move on. Next slide, please. So with that, today we'd like to talk about the programming that's associated with the BioStartup Center. Particularly, we have two programmatic aspects. We partner with IU Health to drive the IU Health Incubator and IU Lab. We have a pre-accelerated program powered by our partners at Generator, which we just wrapped up our first cohorts. Shout out TruePulse and EchoShare for going through the program. The amount of growth we saw in these companies from when we first met them to where we saw after the short 7-year sprint was just absolutely phenomenal, and it really validated what we were pursuing here. And that is really giving those early stage companies, maybe not even a company at this point in time, but the opportunities to learn, grow, see how you can move forward with your venture. And then for the Life Tank Accelerator powered by Plug and Play and BioCrossroads, we just launched on Tuesday last week. We're in the midst of doing our final selection for the first batch of companies that will be part of it. We're looking at 12 companies that will be going through the rigors of the 14-week program. Knowing that the Plug and Play model is really validated through the MedTech vertical located out of Warsaw, Indiana, and we know that they're really good partners and that they bring a lot from the coastal perspective on how we can be engaging VCs, driving innovation, developing companies so that they can go from that pre-seed or seed round to stage 1 and those opportunities that are there. Additionally, in addition to the programmatic side, we'll also be taking on programmatic management of the Indiana Center for Biomedical Innovation located at Methodist Hospital. Something we're really excited about opportunities that it's being supportive of an existing incubator program, creating that additional flywheel effect opportunities to engage in the web app space available and advanced our building being built. And we're just really excited. It's just the right timing and something that we think that we are ready to do. With that, I'm happy to take any questions. I'll be available in the back, and I think I hear the music going, so thank you all very much.
All right, one more. So we will also invite our partners Plug and Play to the podium to go ahead and discuss their program. They also recruit mentors for their program, so it's an opportunity for you all to get tapped into their network as well. On your mentor sheet, you'll have a yes or no if you're interested in joining their program as well. So I'll give it over to Eileen.
Hi, thanks for having me today. I appreciate BioCrossroads hosting us so that we can share a little bit about our initiative here in Indianapolis with IU Lab, and also make an invitation for any mentors that would like to join our ecosystem. My name is Eileen Alberding. I'm a program manager with Plug and Play Indiana. I joined the team about a year and a half ago, and we launched our first Indiana location up in Warsaw, focusing on medical technology. We run an accelerator program there. Plug and Play is headquartered in Silicon Valley. We're also a venture capital firm, and we work with corporates on their innovation work. So I'm now about to start my 4th cohort of startups in Warsaw with that MedTech program, and I'm really excited to be part of what's happening here in Indianapolis. I am joined by Katie Scott. She's our program manager for the new Life Sciences program that we're launching here in Indianapolis, as Matt mentioned, and I will try very hard not to duplicate information already shared so that we can stay on track and keep moving. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, Plug and Play is a few things. We're a venture capital firm. We are an accelerator program. We run 63 locations around the world, the newest here in Indianapolis as of last Tuesday. And we run accelerators in 25 industry-specific verticals. So the newest of those verticals is the life tech or life sciences vertical here in Indianapolis. This is the only one of its kind within the Plug and Play ecosystem. So any startup from around the world that wants to participate and is in the life sciences will have to come through our Indianapolis-based program in partnership with IU Lab. Like I said, we have over 60 locations. We have a network of over 100,000 startups in our ecosystem, and our venture firm makes about 250 investments in startups per year. So startups participating in our program are going to benefit from this really rich, amazing local ecosystem here in Indiana, but also from all of the global supports available through participation in something like a Next slide. So when startups participate, like I said, they're also getting access to our investor network and our venture capital firm. This is just a little bit about some of the investments that we've made and how that can yield more investment capital for the startups that we support. We also have over 30 unicorns in our portfolio, which we're really proud to support. Next slide, please. So now, as Matt mentioned, we are part of the new IU Lab initiative here in Indianapolis. This, for our team in Indiana, has been many, many months in the making, as it has been for the IU Lab team. Our director, Brandon Knoll, Katie, and myself, we are all native Hoosiers. We were born here, raised here. Our families live and work here, and we are just absolutely thrilled to be part of this that's going to be having such an impact on our communities and also the industries that drive Indiana. This program is built to capitalize on the existing life sciences strength here in the state. So we will see innovations coming through on diagnostics, medical devices, drug discovery, therapeutics, AI solutions, and a lot more. It's going to be exciting to see how this will evolve over time. Next slide. So this is just a little bit about what our selection process looks like. I won't belabor this, but this is a several-month process led by Plug and Play Ventures and informed by our partners. We are just about to kick off our first cohort next Tuesday. That will be 10 to 15 startups twice a year going through the program. Next slide. Okay, so this brings me to why we're here. We are seeking experienced mentors to support the startups going through our program. Since you are here as a mentor for the Access program, I know your heart is already in mentorship. You already know the many ways that this can be super impactful for the startups going through any one of these programs. So for Plug and Play, our goal is to have a network of mentors who can fill any of the needs a startup might come to us with. This can be anything from super nuanced and specific support in the life sciences area in which a company is working, or it could be very industry agnostic support that any startup's going to need, maybe investor prep, board management support, that kind of thing. Next slide. Our first cohorts program is kicking off next Tuesday, so we're actively working to build what our network of mentors is going to look like so we can provide support. This just gives you an idea of the timeline that we're working with. So there are some differences between mentorship with Plug and Play and what your mentorship looks like with Access. So our program is about 4 months long, give or take, depending on the time of the year. We'll run 2 cohorts a year with 10 or 15 startups in each. This first batch, like I said, it's starting next Tuesday, and it will conclude in late February or early March with a graduation type of event called Expo. Our startups are coming from all around the world, so both mentorship and participation as a startup is built to be conducted virtually. We do like to have in-person elements when we can make that happen, but just know as a mentor, you can provide mentorship from wherever you are, whenever you are. It takes about 1 to 2 hours a week for our mentors, and you might be paired with just one startup in a cohort. You might receive requests from multiple startups in a cohort. It just depends on your area of expertise, the stages of the startups, and what their interest levels are. But the difference, I think, between us and this Access program is ours is going to be faster, more, quicker, more hours compressed, and then the Access program is going to be a little bit longer relationship. Let's see. So I think that's about it. Katie and I will be here to answer some questions. You can reach out to us anytime. Next slide, thank you. If you're interested in becoming a mentor or learning more about it, you can scan this QR code, share your information with us. We'll review and get back to you. Feel free to email Katie or myself. And if you are a startup and think you might like to explore participation in the accelerator, you can also reach out to Katie or myself and we can share information with you about what that looks like and how you can get involved. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Eileen. Another way to kind of phrase that is often after companies go through accelerator programs, they get asked the question, well, what's next? Where do I go next? And so Axis is honestly a perfect landing spot for them. As we get these accelerators set up, there's a little bit of fluidity, as you can see, but we've already picked up 2 of the companies from the first generator cohort, and then we'll hopefully pick some up after the plug and play batch as well. So cool, we finally made it to the networking session. We did it, only 1 hour into the day. So thank you all again for coming. I really appreciate you all being here. It's a really fun mentoring environment where you guys are all like a really great network, always very supportive of the program. Thank you to our partners as well who all participated and presented today. Again, they will all be in the back if you have further questions for them. And so we will begin our networking session. So how this will work is, again, the mentees will have designated tables. They all have their logos at those tables. You can stand or sit. We provide chairs because sometimes standing is hard for multiple hours. Mentors, if you are interested in them, go ahead and go interact with them, ask them further questions, and indicate your interest, yes, no, maybe, and then make sure to hand those back to us, or you can lay them on the table before leaving. We have plenty of coffee and breakfast in the back too, and so feel free to refresh your coffees. And then if you are a new mentor that has not signed up for the program yet, we also have postcards on the table with QR codes as well, if you want to fill out a mentor form, or you can talk to Tara and I directly. And thank you again, and we'll go ahead and kick off the networking session.